Hello. Welcome to the podcast. I feel so good sitting in this chair. I'm so excited today. I feel like it's been a minute since I recorded. I skipped another week. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm really big on the consistency thing, but I also am like, okay, if my energy is not there and I'm not feeling it, I'm not really going to produce what maybe exactly I want to talk about. Does that make produce or talk? Whatever. It's not going to be the vibe I want. That's what I'm trying to say. And I feel like I've come out of this crazy portal and I am ready to like be on the other side, but kind of not really. Like, I want to talk about the in between today. The in between and like getting comfortable with not knowing and not having all the answers, because I think that's very important and very, very needed for a lot of women. Because if you're anything like me, I have leaned into that type A control masculine energy most of my life. I am the eldest daughter, so I like to be in charge of things. I would boss my brothers around like they were my little minions. And just knowing what was going to happen next is, well, I mean, like basically how my life panned out. I mean, I had a very steady household and growing up, and like my parents were together and we lived in the same town. Like we never moved. I never worried about really being uprooted. And I honestly was just very accustomed and comfortable. And even when like I picked a college that was safe, it was in state, it was close to everyone, and going to college and stuff, that was quite the transition for me. But then I didn't know what was going to happen when it was done. It's like, okay, you know what you're going to do for the next few years or whatever. You're going to take these classes and hopefully learn something, meet some people, whatever. And when I was done, everyone would always ask me, well, what are you going to do with your degree? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Like, what's the job you're looking for? And at that point, I honestly didn't know either. So I ended up getting like a temp job. And then I ended up working at a bank, and I ended up back in my hometown, honestly, because that was safe, that was comfortable, and I liked knowing what was going to happen. And honestly, like I still live in that area. I don't live in my hometown, but I like being close to family, and like I want my kids to grow up here, you know. Anyways, the in between. Like there's that in between, you know, getting out of college and like whatever you're going to do next, and in between jobs. And right now, personally, I feel like that in my life, I've been wanting clarity on things and just being impatient about it and not being in the now. Probably talked about this in a lot of episodes recently, but not living from a place of being anxious all the time and like worrying about the future, and also not being so depressed about how things were and thinking about the past. Like, I don't really personally do that much at all. I'm more of in the I'm going to be anxious about everything, like what's happening next. And oh my gosh, like I don't have a clear vision for my future. And so I've had a lot of signs and things happen recently that it's been like, okay, you need to get comfortable with one, not knowing, and two, being in the in between of maybe you feel like you're shedding an old identity and you're stepping into a new version of yourself, but you don't completely know what that looks like. And I think to help combat any, fears or doubts or whatever comes up, you just have to trust and trust that you're being put down this path for a reason, and trusting that everything is going to work out for you better than you imagined, and your highest, self, God source, like your spirit guides want everything to work out for you or better than you can imagine. Just knowing that and really leaning into that helps. And then you'll start to see, little shifts and little things in your life to definitely reinforce that in your mind. But really, to get to this point, I also think you need to decondition and you need to peel back the layers. Like me talking to you now in this space with like this mindset, that wouldn't have been me a couple years ago. And that definitely wouldn't be me, even farther back. All of my journey, and it's like my shadow work, have led me to this point. Wow, my ears are ringing a lot. Like, oh, okay. But it's like enjoying that journey and everything leading into that point and stepping out of that version of you that's worrying so much, worrying about, oh my gosh, a slew of things, especially if you have kids. I like this quote. I don't remember who said it, but it's worrying is like walking around without an umbrella, waiting for it to rain. Fun fact, I don't really like to use umbrellas. I think they're annoying and I don't want to carry them around ever. And if it's going to rain, I'm going to get wet. I'm not going to melt, so it'll be fine. But if you think about that when you're, just often reminiscing of what could happen in the future and this, that, and the other, I think it'll really bring you back into the now and just being okay with being in the in-between. And maybe you don't know all the answers to all of your burning questions right now, whether it be career, relationship, family, or yourself, or hobbies you do, or your health, or any of those areas of life. I highly recommend you try to start just being more aware. One, if you're even doing this to begin with, like maybe you don't even know that you're so anxious and just really thinking about what's going to happen all of the time. And once you have that awareness, that's a really big piece of the puzzle. And then digging into, what are these things that are coming up for you? What is triggering you? What are those fears? And getting down to the root cause of those things, whether it be a past life, something that happened in this lifetime, something that just is like ancestral for you and is just come down through your lineage. Pinpointing that and then working to heal those things also definitely helps you be more here in the now. And things like, Akashic records are really great for that. I feel like I personally have had so much healing and clearing. That's probably my most used modality for those types of things. And like energetically, I do feel really lighter. And I notice when I'm going through a shift now, like after coming back from my first ever like solo vacation and retreat, first couple days back were, oh my gosh, like so rough. But, you get to a point where you almost feel like lighter and that you're a new version of yourself. And you're like, okay, what does this version of me need in the here and now? Like, what am I grateful for now? Because I know you have things that you can be grateful for now. And your life will never look like this again. Like, especially if you have kids, depending on, if they're still in the house or whatever, you're with them a lot. Personally, right now, my kids are 4 and 2. I'm never going to have this experience ever again with them at these specific ages because, spoiler alert, they grow up and you're going to be with new versions of them throughout their lives as well, which is really freaking cool. So it's like you always have something to be grateful for, and like your house, your health, your, the people in your life that you just really lean on and are great friends, families, yada, yada, yada. All perfect things to be grateful for in the now. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to say there. So if you feel like you're in the in-between and you have a decision to make, and maybe it's a big one, like big life-changing decisions are scary. I will not diminish that. And once you kind of work through, what are your fears? And, is it something that you maybe need to work through, talk it out? Is it something that, you know, maybe isn't that big a deal if you actually, think about it and process that and figure out where it's coming from? Because there are so many possibilities. There are infinite possibilities for you. And whichever path you choose or whatever, decision you make, you're never going to make a wrong decision. You are always going to be guided to whatever your soul planned out for in this lifetime, but there may be multiple ways to get there. So don't ever worry that you're making the wrong decision, because you're not. Ever worry that, you need to make a decision so quickly too. Because if you're not 100% sure and trusting yourself, maybe you do need to sit in that in between a little longer just to, maybe sort things out. And clarity will come to you when you need it. When the divine timing is there and your soul, spirit guides, everyone's like, okay, it's time for her to, figure this out and make that decision, you're going to know. So I think it comes up to, during this time of the year, it was like Libra season is just wrapping up, and finding that balance in your life, in all areas of your life. Libra is very good at, the sign is the scales, wanting you to remember to, pull back. Maybe you were giving out too much energy, and just like balancing those scales out. I mean, it's a very good thing. If you haven't done that lately, just like think of each area of your life. I have a little blurb of like the different areas. I have a podcast on that too. I could link that one with the different areas of your life, and just, do you feel imbalanced? Do you feel balanced? Do you feel like you're giving too much here, not enough here, la 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 la, all the good stuff. I just felt guided to pull a card from this tarot deck that I'm really not the best at shuffling, which is funny. So this one's going to come up. Oh, I love this. This is like gratitude in the moment. So 3 of Cups. Look at this cutie card. 3 of Cups. So water, Cancer. The 3 of Cups represents celebration, friendship, and joy. It's about coming together with your loved ones to share happiness and support. Whether celebrating victories or simply being with your close friends, cherish those connections. Prepare to feel nourished by your community. How can I celebrate the love and joy in my life? Which is very along the lines of the, being grateful and just like celebrating the here and now, and, those close connections, those close friends that you truly enjoy being around, and you don't have to hang out with any energy suckers anymore. You don't have to hang out with any vampires. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. If somebody just isn't, kind of like a Debbie Downer, and like you're just not vibing anymore, it's okay to kind of let those things fizzle out, because you are going to be surrounded by the people, who match your frequency, who appreciate you, who, are cheering you on in all those everyday moments. So don't ever be scared about losing friends or people in your life, because you're always going to make new friends, meet new people, and you are never, ever, ever, ever alone. So there's my short and sweet little episode on kind of my own thoughts about being in the in-between. And I would love to hear, like, I don't know if you feel like you've gone through that this year, if you're currently going through that, or if you can definitely think of times in your life where you're going through that and maybe how you were to approach things differently, knowing what you know now, and really just trusting. Trust is huge, and knowing everything is working out for you. Those are like the two main things I want to say today. So thank you so much for listening, and we will be back on our regularly scheduled weekly podcast next week.